The Washington, D.C.-based Smithsonian Institution, an umbrella group that encompasses dozens of museums, libraries, and the National Zoo. The addition of the National Museum of African American History and Culture, an idea more than 100 years in the making, was accompanied by great fanfare. Completed in 2016, it was dedicated by Barack Obama, the first black president of the United States. The museum is now in the spotlight as the Trump administration takes aim at it under the auspices of a March executive order entitled Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History. President Donald Trump's articulated goal to eliminate improper, divisive, or anti-American ideology. Critics argue that the president is attempting to erase African Americans from the narrative of U.S. history, including the historical and present-day prejudice Black Americans face.
We have a struggle between people who are trying to gain a more accurate view of history and people who are trying to obscure it. I mean, it's interesting that, I spent my career studying Black American history, and a lot of the career has been an effort to correct mistakes, not to introduce error.
While it has remained unclear what actions the administration plans to take to implement Trump's goals, this week reports surfaced that some artifacts were being removed. In a statement, the Smithsonian said, "The Smithsonian routinely returns loaned artifacts per applicable loan agreements and rotates objects on display in accordance with the Smithsonian's high standards of care and preservation and as part of our regular museum turnover." Recent claims that objects have been removed for reasons other than adherence to standard loan agreements or museum practices are false. Critics, however, aren't convinced, including a civil rights activist and pastor who's at the center of the controversy. He had 2 items removed from display: a Bible he took to civil rights era demonstrations with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Reverend Jesse Jackson, and a 19th century book he describes as the first history of the Negro race. Reverend Amos Brown says the museum gave him a flimsy excuse for returning his books, claiming they could suffer damage under harsh museum lighting.
But I got this email that was dropped on me, cold, without any communication. "We are returning your Bible and book. And this matter about preserving them, they are a museum. They know how to preserve artifacts. That's a joke."
Civil rights leaders are vowing to push back against what they see as administration efforts to silence Black voices and undermine democracy. With the changes at the African American Museum coming amid the president's wider assault on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across both public and private sectors. Poppie and Mphuthing, CGTN, Washington.